Welcome back to the Epicurean Smokes coverage of the Premium Cigar Association Trade Show 2025.
Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Steven here from Epicurean Smokes. We're back at PCA 2025 and we're visiting with Vance, the owner of Stoic Cigars. Thanks for meeting with me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
I'm so curious to learn about your brand. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so as you said, my name's Vance Talor. I launched this brand last year in November. We did a soft launch. This is our official launch here at PCA. So we're fully stocked on inventory now and shipping to retailers within the US. The brand is based on the ancient Roman philosophy of Stoicism. So you can see on our signage around the booth, the four virtues of Stoicism: courage, justice, moderation, and wisdom over there are captured in the brand in the form of the four sizes. So our initial launch comes in a single blend in four different sizes, named for the four virtues of Stoicism. And I'm actually smoking our new blend, which will come out this summer. But I'll show you quickly. On the band, all four sizes are indicated, and the size that you're smoking gets the gold foil you can see right there.
That's beautiful.
So it moves around. It's sort of a little Easter egg in the branding, which is unique and interesting. And we do a couple little things like this to make it friendly for consumers and also for retailers. So if you can see the cigars on the table there, you can carry the entire lineup in an 18-inch shelf space. And we created a little slip on the back of our boxes. We call it a lid slip, which holds the cabinet lid behind the box for shelf appeal. And just little things like that. The retailers have been loving it, so we're off to a hot start.
That's very smart. That's very smart.
Thank you.
How did you decide to start a cigar brand?
So, fun story. My now wife, then girlfriend, and I managed to make our way here 10 years ago. The last time the show was in New Orleans. And we came as volunteers working for Stinky Ashtray. We manned his cash and carry table. And so we were slinging ashtrays to everybody that needs them for their booth. They can pay cash and take them. And it was our way of getting access. And on that trip, I networked with a bunch of different people. I found myself going to the Dominican Republic with other manufacturers. I tried my hand at blending here and there. But mainly I fell in love with the industry and the people and everybody involved in the process from seed to smoke, as they say. And we started talking then about someday. It became that someday dream. We're going to own our own cigar company. And, here we are now 10 years later, and we're back at IPCPR, now PCA, back in New Orleans, where it all started with our own booth. And so it's this really good full circle story for us. But I had an opportunity in my corporate gig to take an early exit from a company that I helped grow, and the opportunity was there, and we said, if we don't do it now, we're not going to do it. And it was this put up or shut up moment for us, and we burned the boats, and here we are.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And can you tell me about some information about the blend, the flavor profiles?
Yeah, so I worked very, very hard on this blend to thread a needle, which for me is, I define it as accessibility. It's on all my business plan and all my own brand creation stuff, is keep in mind that the price point and the blend profile needs to be accessible, meaning daily smokers like us can smoke it and get a ton of enjoyment out of the complexity and the nuance and the sophistication of the smoke, but it's not overpowered. So new cigar smokers or infrequent cigar smokers, when they walk into a shop, any shop owner can hand that smoker this cigar and convert them into hopefully a lifelong member of our community. And that's the goal for me, is expansion. I'm not here to take my little slice of the existing pie. I'm trying to make the pie bigger. And we have a bunch of initiatives around that. The blend itself is very complex. We're using 7 tobaccos from 4 different countries. So when you get down to the Corona Gorda size and we're putting 5 different tobaccos in that filler, it takes a very delicate touch. I make the cigars at Kellner, SAS in the Dominican Republic, Klaas Kellner's factory, and he is the man when it comes to consistency in construction and quality. Every single one of these cigars smokes perfectly. We haven't had a single burn issue or dry issue yet, knock on wood. I mean, I know it's a handmade product and things happen, but the quality control in that factory is excellent. And they have the ability to take this very complex blend and make it work in these 4 sizes, and it's been awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If there were one thing that you would like a retailer visiting you at your booth here at PCA, one thing that you'd like a retailer to take away from meeting you, what would that be?
Well, part and parcel to our mission is I believe that it's incumbent on everybody in the industry to be proactive about creating new cigar smokers. We're one of those unique industries where we could potentially go extinct or move towards extinction if we're not creating new consumers it's not a foregone conclusion with regulatory and all the other pressures on our industry. And so in that vein, I only sell these cigars to brick and mortar retailers. Now you can sell online, but you have to have a humidor and you have to have the cigars on the shelf. And in that way, I think we're committed to supporting lounges and the lounge experience, the curated cigar smoker experience where people go to learn about cigars. If we don't have brick and mortar and we don't have lounges, we don't birth new cigar smokers. That's where they come from. Now they may buy cigars online later, but very few people, I think, and it's a thesis, so I don't have any data to support it at this time, but my assumption is we're not getting a lot of new cigar smokers who find their way to a cigar online, having never sat down with somebody and learned how to do it. Right. And so we're very pro brick and mortar. Our price point is intentional. We're not taking huge margins on this as a new brand. We feel like we need to earn that. And so the cigars range from $11 to $13 retail. So they're very affordable, especially for what you're getting. I mean, you could put this on a shelf next to the Avos and Davidoffs and in that vein, and give people a very similar, very premium Dominican smoking experience for a fraction of the price.
Very nice. And in the same vein, if there were something that you would want to convey to a consumer who may be watching this?
Yeah, I would say, this is a brand that you can get behind and you can make it a daily smoke and know that it's going to be here. We're fully invested. My wife and I have committed our savings and our life to this. This is not a side job for me. I burned the boats, as I said earlier. This is a full-time gig. And so we're a brand that you can support. One thing consumers should know, on the retail version of this brand, of this cigar, we put a unique ID code underneath the band.
Wow.
So when you pop this off, there's a unique ID code that's for this cigar only, not the box, not the size, but this specific cigar. And when you log it in my web app, it says, here's your Courage cigar. It lets you put all your notes, creates a cigar journal, which, by the way, you can also use for non-Stoic cigars. You could log any cigar in that journal.
Oh, wow.
It plots it on a map, so you can see a heat map of where all the Stoic cigars are being smoked. It puts you on a leaderboard, and it gives you reward points that you can exchange for Stoic swag.
Neat. Wow.
And so we built that before we launched, and there's all sorts of cool things we're doing in there. It's V1. The whole point is to have an online community for Stoic cigar smokers, where they can discuss the brand, they can discuss Stoicism, they can meet each other, and we're just very committed to the cigar community at large, and then the cigar's just awesome.
Now feel free to say no, but. Is it too early to talk about the summer release?
No, I don't think so. There's one tobacco in my filler that I've not disclosed, and the reason I haven't is because it's very unique. I know a lot about tobacco and a lot about cigars, and I didn't know this region grew tobacco. And most people that I've talked to about it don't know also. And so that gives us a bit of a signature note, and we're using that in the new blend as well. So it's great because you can recognize it as a Stoic, but it's very different. In the new blend, we're turning up the body and the strength a little bit, like 1 or 2 ticks, so it's still not overly strong, but it's expanding out to that sort of next cohort of cigar smokers that want something heavier on the palate, and it does that very elegantly. So I'm really excited for it because I think it's going to allow us to just hit another part of the market, and we're just going to keep taking those steps. It'll come in the same 4 sizes. It'll be a core line, so it's not a limited edition or anything like that, but it'll be out this summer, and it'll be a nice expansion of the brand.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where do you see Stoic going over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, we expect, at least according to the pro forma, we expect some pretty substantial growth. We're going to focus on the U.S. market. We really want to establish a solid base here with predictable production and orders. And at that point, we'll look at expanding potentially into Europe and continuing to grow. We don't plan to do this, 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 releases a year that drive retailers crazy. Yeah. We plan to do it right, to do it slow, and to do it very intentionally with the retailer experience in mind, and obviously just making great cigars that the smokers can smoke every day, and they don't need a new thing every 2 or 3 months to stay attached to the brand. They'll stay with the brand because this cigar is great and that cigar is great.
That's fantastic perspective. The last question I like to ask is, what's your desert island cigar, if you could only take one?
I definitely have my old favorites from my previous life, but all bias aside, legitimately, it would be this one, the Courage of the Stoic. And the reason being is that's the Robusto size. it's complex enough that it keeps me engaged, and the flavors are nuanced and subtle, and I love that. But also it's short enough that I can smoke it in an hour, or I could smoke 3 over the course of 5 hours and not get burnt out on it. So it doesn't fry your palate. It's one of those unique cigars that you could smoke back to back, and it's not because you're smoking air. It's because it's just light enough on your palate. It doesn't burn you out. So for a desert island, that's what you would need.
That's fantastic. Good answer. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time with me today. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we end?
No, I just, I invite retailers to come check us out. We just wrote our first order ever, so
nice.
We got to go put that in a frame, and I would say we're off and running.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you.